What is up, everybody? Thank you for stopping by my channel today. Super excited about this review because this is a holster that I've been looking to get into for a long time. But the holster we're going to be going over today is the Tier 1 Concealed Axis Elite holster. We are going to go over the pros and cons of this holster, what I think about this holster, do I recommend this holster to appendix carriers out there or not. If you like my videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to have lots of good reviews and hopefully getting into some gun reviews to some of my firearms that I carry on a yearly basis, because I switch out firearms depending on the season, because here in Michigan we have 4 different seasons, so I have roughly about 2 or 3 firearms for the different seasons. Let's get down to the tabletop review so we can start going over this amazing holster. Hey guys, welcome to the tabletop. Alright, going over this holster. A few things I talked about. I do really like the wide clips. Okay, they really separate the weight on this holster when it's riding in your pants. This holster feels a lot lighter than some of my other holsters that I wear. I do really like that. These are just the standard clips. If you watch some of my other videos, you guys know that I am not a big fan of the metal clips. Everybody keeps telling me, oh, you gotta let them wear in, you gotta let them loosen up a little bit, and I honestly don't really care. Now, along with the clips, this is kind of where I was playing around with this holster, and this is the way that I found it to be most comfortable. But if you can't tell, this clip is actually riding lower than this clip. Okay. There's a little bit of space down there at the bottom, and there's little to no space on the bottom of this one. Okay, for some reason, when I was wearing it, when they were both the same length, it felt tilted the wrong direction, where I had to contort my wrist just to take it out of the holster, and I didn't really like that. I found that when I put it like this kind of put the holster more straight up and down than the other way did. I do like the ridges. This is the ridge on the caddy side that your belt pushes it into your body. I really like that design. It's kind of built in to the holster. It does have the track system where you unscrew the screws and you can move the clip up and down. And you can move it, yep, moves up like that. And then I'm going to move it back down into the correct place right there. That's kind of cool. And everybody that follows my channel knows I prefer deep concealment on my holsters. That's why these clips are so high right now. I prefer it to sit really low in my waistband. I'm not worried about uber fast draws. I would rather have it be comfortable when I'm carrying it around, so that's why I like having a deep concealment. One thing about these clips on this side where the gun is, I keep these nice and loose up here because this is also the retention screw for your holster. There's another retention screw that's actually on the other side here. I actually had to take that completely out. I think it was right there. You can see the mark. Here it is. I actually took it. It was right there. I took it completely out because I did not like the click retention. The click retention was a little too much. I kind of like more of that friction retention on here. So now with this gun, with that screw out, and I loosened up all of these screws on this side, it gets more of that click, that slide retention there. I actually, because I demonstrated that, I actually messed up my retention. It has a little tiny click to it. I can see if I can do it. Just a little tiny click. And that's what I like, because I want to be able to pull this thing out and then the holster not move in my pants. I want to keep it right there. I don't want my belt getting pushed up when I am taking the gun out of the holster. It is clear, by the way, here and here. It is completely clear. Okay. Your retention screw for your mag is back here. Just for those of you out there, I like just a touch of retention there, not a lot. Like I said, I do not want my belt to get pushed up when I take these out. Okay, so there's like, you can hear that. There's like a little click there. That's a little one. The track system also works with the wing. You can move this wing up and down. As you can see, it lines up underneath the screw, so you can move your clip and your wing by loosening up these screws as well. I try to keep my wing as close to the level as the clip as possible. I could probably move this up a little bit, but it actually works really good where it's at right here. It's the top of this is pretty much to that gap right there, which is absolutely perfect. Be careful with adding too many plates, because if you add too many plates here, it's really hard to get your belt around this plate system and then underneath the clip. You really got to open up your clip really far to fit it in there nice and easy. Yes, it's going to tuck into your body really well, but it's also really difficult to get on and off until these clips get loosened up a little bit. I could definitely tell these clips are a lot more rigid than my 7-year-old Axis Slim holster clips. I did notice that. So the more you use this holster, the more these clips are going to loosen up on you. I've never had these clips ever break. This is the full sweat guard here. I am actually most likely going to Dremel this into a mid-length sweat guard. I live up in Michigan. I am not worried about sweating in this thing. It really doesn't get that hot. Like if we're talking 80 degrees is a really hot day up here, and I really don't sweat that much in an 80-degree day. I do not need a full sweat guard. I feel like this is mainly for southern states that get really, really hot outside. They need that sweat guard to protect their firearm from getting rust. I did put the wedge on here. This is the small standard wedge. It looks like a 1-inch standard wedge, and that's I believe that's the small one. And what I had to do is, because they have this raised part for the slide release here, I had to cut my wedge in a little L here to make it fit perfectly on there, and it actually works out really, really well. Okay, gets all the way to the edge there. Having this wedge on here makes 120% difference. Before, without this wedge, I could really feel this part digging into my leg. With this wedge, it actually pushes that part away from my leg, and I don't even feel it digging in at all. Comfortability, this holster is incredibly comfortable, especially with the wedge. I highly recommend the wedge. In my personal opinion, I'm a big dude. Small is really all you're going to need. I see the ones that are really, really thick. I think that's a little bit overkill. I don't think you need that big of a wedge on here, because it doesn't need to stick out that much. It just needs to stick out a little bit to take the pressure off the bottom of the holster. As soon as you do that, it's a fantastic holster. Absolutely no problems. Them coming up with this wedge system is absolutely amazing. Enough of the pros. A couple of the cons that I don't like about this holster. I'm going to take this out. And this just bugs me about Tier 1 Conceal, because it's such a good holster. It could be even better, though. What I would like to see is, I would like to see them cut this Kydex right here down to the tip of the barrel, where the barrel comes out. Okay, cut this part off. Okay, make this as thin as possible on both sides. Like this right here is not necessary. Like, cut this part off. Like, you can leave this screw in right here, but you can still cut all that excess part off on a little bit of an angle. Okay, that's like what? I want to say a half inch you can cut off there, half inch you can cut off there. Like, that would be a really comfortable holster if you did that. And T-Rex Arms does that. They're like one of the only holster companies that gets it, where they make it as narrow as possible on both sides, so it is really, really comfortable. Okay, there is no light there. There is no reason to have all this extra material right here. And what really bugs me is, I would Dremel that out, but they put little raised parts right here and right here. So if I Dremel that out, there's going to be a big open spot right there. I'm actually tempted on doing it, just Dremeling it through this side. It wouldn't really matter because it's open on the back, but this side would look a little bit different if I Dremeled it that way. If I do decide to Dremel that, I will let you know. I will definitely put a video on for that one. The downside, it's roughly $150 shipped to your house, just like the Slim is. Fantastic holster. They are about 98% of the way there, in my opinion, on how perfect this holster is for an appendix carrier. Some of you might not like appendix carry, and that's fine. Stick with your standard holsters. But people that really love appendix carry, like myself, this is an amazing holster, and I highly, highly recommend this holster for everybody out there. All right, after all that being said, I hope you guys got something out of this review. I absolutely love this holster. I like that it's a non-light bearing variant because I don't really like carrying a light that often. And if I do carry a light, I'm going to switch over to my Tier 1 Axis Slim that has the light on it. That's the kind of the reason I bought the Elite version without the light, so I can have one with a light and one without a light. This holster is about that close to perfect. There's just a few things on this holster that I wish they would cut off and make it a little bit skinnier on both sides. Would make this holster absolutely perfect, and I hope Tier 1 Concealed listens to my small channel. Remember to train hard, get strong, be a protector. If no one said I love you today, I absolutely love you guys. God bless you all.